It's funny how quiet a dinner table can be, even when everyone's pretending nothing's wrong. The clinking of forks, the sound of someone's chewing it, all feels louder when you know what's coming. That night, I already knew. I could feel it coming before my dad even opened his mouth. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you are listening. Your support means everything. We were sitting around the old mahogany table, the one my father polished every Sunday like it was a shrine. My mum sat on his right, her hands folded neatly, her expression already halfway between irritation and disappointment. The smell of the food her cooking, always perfect, only made it worse. Because perfect meals were for perfect families. And that night, I was the only one ruining the symmetry. I'm 25 now. But at the time, I just turned 23. Still living at home. Still trying to figure things out. I'd quit my office job 2 months earlier. The one that made me miserable. The one that my parents bragged about to their friends. I didn't have a new job yet. I was freelancing, scraping together design gigs and tutoring part-time, trying to find something that didn't make me feel like a ghost in my own skin. But to them, figuring things out sounded like doing nothing. Dinner was always the stage for their disappointment. So, my father said, clearing his throat as he cut into the roast chicken, "Did you apply to that firm your cousin told you about?" My fork paused in mid-air. I looked at it, I said. "It's not really." He didn't let me finish. "Not really what? A job?" "Because that's what it is, you know. A job. Something people do when they don't want to live off their parents." Mum sighed softly beside him, the way she always did when he got going. It was part of their choreography. He threw the first stone. She added the echo. "I just think," she said carefully, "that at your age, you should be more settled. You know your father and I had a mortgage and 2 kids by 25. I forced a small laugh. "Yeah. Times were different though." "Not that different," Dad said, stabbing a piece of chicken. "Work is work. You get up, you show up, you do what you're supposed to do. It's not that complicated." That's the part where I usually stay quiet. Nod. Chew, take it. That night I wanted to. I promised myself I would. But something about the way he said, "supposed to," got under my skin. The silence stretched too long. I tried to drink some water just to have something to do. My hand was shaking slightly, and I hoped they didn't notice. Mom spoke again, softly this time. "Honey, it just feels like you're drifting. You quit a stable job for..." "What?" "Drawings. Online things. You can't just chase hobbies forever." "I'm not chasing hobbies," I said. "I'm trying to build something." Dad snorted. "Build what? Excuses?" That line hit like a slap. I laughed under my breath because if I didn't, I might have cried. "No, Dad, I'm building a career. It's just different." He leaned back in his chair, looked me over like I was a stranger. "Different? You mean non-existent?" Mom didn't even flinch. She just said, "You know we love you, but you have to be realistic." Realistic. The word they used when they meant smaller. The next 10 minutes were a blur of passive-aggressive remarks, old comparisons and little sighs that said more than words ever could. It wasn't new, but it was getting harder to sit through. I'd been keeping things to myself for weeks, how I'd just landed my first real freelance client, how I'd finally started paying off my student loan without their help. But I hadn't told them, because I knew it wouldn't be enough. Nothing ever was. Then came the line. The one that seared into me. Dad set down his fork, looked me dead in the eyes and said, almost conversationally, "So tell me, how does it feel being useless?" He didn't even raise his voice. That made it worse. Mom didn't stop him. She just looked down, like she agreed but didn't want to be part of it. I wish I could say I got angry right away. I didn't. I froze. My mind went blank, but my chest burned like I'd swallowed something toxic. I stared at the plate, at the perfect dinner, and all I could think about was how small I felt. How I used to come home with report cards and awards, just to see that proud look on their faces, and how it had vanished the moment I stopped fitting their picture of success. Answer me, Dad said after a moment. You must feel something. I looked up then, and something in me snapped, not in a loud, fiery way, but like a quiet breaking. A bridge giving way after too much weight. It feels, I said slowly, like I finally stopped living for your approval. The room went dead still. Even the clock on the wall seemed to stop ticking. He blinked, like he hadn't heard me right. What's that supposed to mean? I took a breath, surprised at how steady my voice sounded. It means I'm tired of feeling like I exist just to make you proud. I've spent my whole life trying to be the version of me that you wanted, and I still ended up being a disappointment. So maybe it's not me that's useless. Maybe it's your idea of me. Mom's eyes widened. Dad's mouth opened slightly, then closed again. I went on. You wanted a son who followed the rules, who stayed on the path you made. But that path made me miserable. You never asked what I wanted. You just wanted to be able to brag about me at dinner parties. The air was thick. I could hear my own heartbeat. He leaned forward, trying to regain control. Don't talk to me like that. You think you know how hard it was to give you everything. I do know, I said quietly. And I'm grateful. But giving me everything doesn't mean you get to decide who I am. Mom whispered my name, a warning. But I wasn't yelling. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was just... Damn, I'm working, I said. I'm trying. Maybe you can't see it yet, but that doesn't mean it's not real. I'm not useless, Dad. I'm just not what you wanted. For the first time, he didn't have an immediate comeback. He looked away, jaw clenched. Mum's eyes were shiny, but she didn't say a word. Dinner ended in silence. I helped clear the table even though my hands were shaking. They didn't thank me. They didn't have to. As I was putting away the dishes, my dad muttered something under his breath, something about kids these days. But he didn't look at me. I went to my room afterward and just sat there. My heart was pounding, but I felt lighter than I had in years. Saying it out loud, finally drawing that line, it felt like breaking out of a cage I hadn't realized I'd been living in. That was the night something shifted. Not between us, at least not right away, but inside me. The days after were awkward. My dad avoided me. My mom talked in clipped sentences, and the house felt colder. I thought maybe I'd ruined everything. Then, about a week later, I came home from meeting a new client and found an envelope on my desk. Inside was a short note in my father's handwriting. I still don't understand what you're doing, but if it matters that much to you, keep at it. Don't waste it. That was all. No apology. No, I'm proud of you. But for him, it was something. A month later, when one of my designs was featured on a local business page, I caught him showing it to my uncle on his phone. He didn't know I was standing behind him. She's doing her own thing, he said. Turns out she's not so useless after all. I didn't say anything. I just smiled to myself, because that's what power looks like sometimes. Not shouting, not revenge, just proving quietly that you were right to believe in yourself when no one else did. And you know what? The next time we had dinner, the table didn't feel so heavy anymore. They still didn't understand everything I did. They still dropped hints about real jobs sometimes. But they stopped calling me useless. And that was enough. If I could go back, I'd tell my younger self this. You don't need to earn permission to live your life. Sometimes, the moment you stop trying to explain yourself is the moment they finally start listening. And sometimes, all it takes is one sentence to make years of silence finally mean something.